I'm the man who can give you the one thing you want. What's that? Time.
With the third movie in its shrinking superhero series, Marvel Studios tries its best to turn its silliest franchise into a proper MCU blockbuster, complete with high stakes, intense drama, and important lore tied to the multiverse saga. And hey, it kinda works. Hello, my name is Joshua Yale, and this is my review of Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania.
How are you an Avenger? That doesn't make sense. But everywhere I go, people tell me the same thing.
Thank you, Spider-Man!
To the movie's credit, it does manage to supersize this adventure while still maintaining the awkward, deadpan humor that makes Paul Rudd's portrayal of Scott Lang so endearing.
You're not the one with the hammer.
That's Thor. We get confused a lot. Similar body types. Who are you?
Yet, in its haste to do so much, several of Quantumania's characters, ideas, and plot lines feel underdeveloped. And that's not the first time that's been said about a recent MCU movie. The saving grace is Jonathan Majors' show-stopping performance as the villain Kang, but not even he can conquer the MCU's tendency to get in its own way. And you know exactly what I'm talking about. Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, Thor: Love and Thunder, Black Panther: Wakanda Forever, all of these MCU movies have this same problem, and none of them can seem to figure out how to fix it. This movie doesn't exactly fix it, but it smooths over enough of it that I had a good time. No time is wasted in establishing the drama between the various members of the Pym Lang family unit, which is good because there's not much of it before they're whisked off to the wondrous yet extremely dangerous quantum realm and must sort it all out while in the midst of an action-packed adventure. Scott's relationship with his well-meaning delinquent daughter Cassie is the emotional crux, and while I didn't really buy her reason for being mad at her father, Rudd and Kathryn Newton work well together to peel back the layers of abandonment and disappointment until they arrive at Quantumania's most heartfelt moments. That the film sticks the emotional landing is one of its greatest strengths. There may have been tears. I think it's really interesting what they do with Cassie. First of all, because it's really cool to have seen this character grow up from a little girl and now a fully grown young adult who's now played quite well by Kathryn Newton, who I very much enjoy her performance. I do understand to an extent where she's coming from, because Dad wasn't around during important years of her youth, and now he's enjoying the success of being a superhero, and she doesn't see like this aspirational hero in him anymore. I get that, but also he did save the world, the universe from Thanos, so give him a break, you know what I mean? It's really interesting how in the comic books, we first met her as Stature in the Young Avengers, but in the movie, they're starting her out in her Stinger persona with the purple suit, which is very different. It's backwards, but it's a refreshing, new angle on Cassie that I very much enjoyed.
Wait, you have a suit?
I know how to take care of myself, okay? Trust me, I'm pretty good at it by now.
Ouch.
As for the rest of the cast, unfortunately, Michael Douglas's Hank Pym doesn't have much to do this time around, and there's even less for Evangeline Lilly's Hope, which feels strange for a character who's mentioned in the title. The most delightful surprise comes from the substantial role given to Michelle Pfeiffer's Janet Van Dyne, who finally deals with the trauma of what happened to her during those 30 years in the quantum realm with a reserved and powerful performance. After her far too short appearance in the last outing, it's most welcome for Janet to take a leading role this time around. She's awesome. And here's the thing about Janet. She is an original OG Avenger in the comics. Obviously things are very different in the MCU, but when they really hyped her up for Ant-Man and the Wasp, the second movie in this series, and then she only really had a few minutes of screen time, I was super disappointed. So this movie definitely feels like they're recognizing this Marvel icon, and we get to see her actually do a lot of really awesome, cool stuff in the movie. So props to them for that.
You know how dangerous the quantum realm is.
Want to know who else is awesome in this movie? Kang. We already met a variant of this infamous Marvel Comics villain in the Loki Disney Plus show, but whereas He Who Remains was flamboyant and wild-eyed, Kang is steely and sinister. Majors absolutely nails the multifaceted nature of Kang, a man who feels burdened with his domain over time, yet has the fiery will to use it to achieve unthinkable ends.
I will take my revenge on those who banished me.
And I will burn them out of time.
He's just so great. And actually, so much effort is put into establishing just how powerful and dangerous Kang is that it makes the irony all the more delicious when he has to face off against the goofball who talks to ants. To say that the power levels between Ant-Man and Kang are mismatched is a severe understatement. In the comics, Kang is an Avengers-level threat on par with Thanos, the kind where even a full team of Avengers would be lucky to beat him in a head-to-head brawl. So it's a credit to writer Jeff Loveness and director Peyton Reed that they find ways for Ant-Man to actually stand a chance, and those ideas make for some creative and fun action scenes. That said, punches are often pulled when it comes to setting up the stakes of those battles, which makes the dangers it builds up feel kind of toothless.
Holy, that guy looks like broccoli.
Now, nearly the entire story takes place in the quantum realm, a bizarre place where beings have broccoli for heads and they use flying mitochondria for transportation. While there's plenty of never-before-seen sci-fi stuff to enjoy, truly, it's crazy down there, there is seemingly no rhyme or reason behind any of it, so it all feels like computer-generated window dressing that has no bearing on events taking place. Contrast that with Disney's recent animated film Strange World, which also featured a family getting lost in an uncanny sci-fi landscape, but that movie had a specific reason why the world was so weird that tied all the weirdness together. Similarly, we meet a band of characters in the quantum realm, but much like their home, they don't add much to Quantumania beyond a few jokes and a way to move the plot forward. No character embodies this issue more than Bill Murray's character, whose one scene feels entirely inconsequential. The same issue of underdevelopment can be felt in the theme of fighting oppression, which is Cassie's whole deal. She is driven by the desire to fight for something that matters and stand up to those in power. And Kang just happens to be a power-mad dictator for everyone to resist. But Quantumania doesn't stop to explore any of those ideas. Another recent Disney project, the Star Wars series Andor, showed in intimate detail how rebellion can break out from under the evils of fascism. Yet, Quantumania is content without that kind of closer examination. And I don't mean to keep bringing up comparisons, but I think it's important to point out that other Disney projects have shown that these things can be done and be done well, and it's just a bit frustrating that Marvel kept everything so surface level. We also have to talk about MODOK. The fan favorite, murderous, giant, floating head has finally found his way into the live-action MCU, and while his oversized, stretched-out face never quite looks right and his body looks like a Decepticon design rejected for making people feel too uncomfortable, the character actually works. I never could have predicted that MODOK, of all people or, mental organisms designed only for killing, would have one of the most effective character arcs in the movie, but here we are.
I just think you should get to have a normal life.
Dad, a guy dressed like a bee tried to kill me in my room when I was 6. I've never had a normal life.
So, to wrap this up, Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania has just enough entertaining moments, great performances, and heartfelt family story to make up for its more underdeveloped aspects, namely the exploration of its central themes, new characters, and the quantum realm itself. Even so, Quantumania really works as a culmination of the Ant-Man series, a way to start things in motion for Phase 5, and a promising roadmap of where the multiverse saga is going. Which is why I'm giving this film a 7 out of 10, which on our scale means it's good. It's a good movie. But hey, this is just my opinion. When you see it, leave a comment and let me know what you think. I love talking about movies. Thanks for watching. Be sure to check out our other movie reviews, and I'll see you next time right here on IGN.
You thought you could win.